Welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is October 30th, 2016. My name's Eric Peters, and joining me today, Mr. Daniel Curtis.
Hello.
Hi, Dan.
Hey. You right?
Guess who else is here?
Not Jess.
Not Jess, but we got Tom!
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Gay guys.
I was going to do that.
I think I'm going to post...
I still don't know what happened there.
I don't even know what happened there, and I said it. I did this and back, and fair play, it does sound like gay guys, but I was...
Oh, it's clear.
I was trying for high, just came out gay. I was like, alright, we'll just go with this.
It's excellent.
I think I need to isolate that clip and just post it on Facebook. If anybody wants the Tom Gay Guys notification message. Gay Guys!
With the most downloaded thing by the end of the year.
Next to Dan's little cat noise. Yeah. Wasn't that from one of the videos that we did with Battlefield? We were getting our throats cleared beforehand.
I think it was just, and then you just decided to put it in the video because it was so stupid. I think it was Battlefield 3 Show Tunes video.
Oh, yeah.
Which also, of course, spawned a bunch of dudes in a Jeep.
Those were not our more intelligent days.
It was damn funny, though.
Back when we didn't have jobs.
We had some great video names. I remember for Battlefield 3 there was Dark Lords and Crispy Nipples.
No Hair Sea Anals.
No Hair Sea Anals.
Something in Sausage Goggles.
Sausage Goggles.
I don't even know what Sausage Goggles was.
Sound great.
Well, we were talking about something, and it was so damn funny that we had to put it in, but I'd forgotten to press record on the video aspect of things.
Right.
So like the first 20 minutes are just us talking.
Oh, yeah. I remember there was a Saints Row one as well, which was called Two Toilets and a Boy Named Jim.
We're so stupid.
My God.
Good times. If only we had time to do them nowadays.
Oh, God. Tell you what, if any of us ever win the lottery, we'll put more effort into that.
Yeah, that
I
would
will
be
hire
good.
you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Then waste all your money.
Oh, it'd totally be a waste. But if I have $30 million,
Oh, yeah. It wouldn't even scratch off.
I'd throw a couple thousand your way.
Thank you. It's very nice.
Yeah, just a couple thousand. You'd quit your job. You'd have to move over here. You'd have to find lodging.
I just live in your garage.
Yeah.
Your garage.
Garage.
In the garage.
It's not a garage.
What is it?
Some people say
It's a garage.
A garage.
I say garage.
It's a garage.
Oh, that's because you're...
Just like where you keep all of your things in the video game world is an inventory.
Yes.
That's an inventory.
There's an inventory. You got to inventory that shit in your inventory, so you got it nice and orderly.
It's my dream job to work for Konami.
God almighty. How is everybody doing? Besides the fact that Jess isn't here, we can't ask her. Apparently, she forgot that we do the show on Sundays.
Yeah, even though you said on pain of death, everybody had to be here this week for the Halloween show.
That's it. Jess is
Yeah.
up the show. Bye, Jess.
This was in the calendar.
We're going to have a casting call.
Cemented.
Last week's was the final appearance of Jess. She's now being murdered by Eric.
It wasn't me directly.
All right, you've hired a hitman.
Now, if something terrible happens to Jess, this is going to be used as evidence.
I'm just going to say
Well, it
now.
would be a bit coincidental if it did.
It'd be awful.
Has she got a new stalker yet?
I don't know. Anybody out there take her up on her offer?
I don't know. People just send her pictures of penises nowadays.
And then she forwards them
Yes.
very graciously.
Yes.
And
So
I'm assuming you read that one over breakfast, because I have to imagine you just
Yes, I was just
feel
tucking
yourself.
into my bowl of cornflakes and opened my phone, and there
big
in all
old
its glory
schlong.
was a giant penis in a car.
Yeah, just
Standard on my phone on a morning, of course.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to light you guys up with more Drunk Eric last night, but I just wasn't feeling it. We had a Halloween dinner party at a friend's house last night that was pretty intense, but I had adult responsibilities and didn't feel like getting completely slammed. And because we had the podcast in the morning, so if Drunk Eric would have made an appearance, there would not have been a show. So you're welcome.
Yeah, cheers, man. It's all right. We would have done it without you.
Yeah, I know. But no, we had a good time last night. It was just a small group of friends dressing up and eating lavish Cornish game hens with purple carrots.
This sounds pretentious as hell.
Interesting.
Oh, dude, both of my pinkies were on the ceiling the whole night.
Just hanging on a light fitting.
It's too fancy to eat all this food. I have to use my feet.
Or your little arm cannon was raised all night.
Oh, yeah.
Because you were dressed as Mega Man.
That was a beautiful segue, Tom.
The party was described to me as, apparently there's something called Disney Bound, where you don't actually dress up as a character, but you look like how they would look in a modern era. Just dressing in their colors. Like if you wanted to be Ariel, you'd have like a red shirt and green pants or something like that, and maybe a couple little accessories that indicate I'm a mermaid.
So Halloween for people who can't be asked, basically.
Oh yeah, totally. And I'm not a huge Halloween fan in the first place. So like, you know what? I have this knit Mega Man stocking. I went out and I found a blue shirt that perfectly matched the cyan color of that hat. I'm like, I'll put on some jeans and I'll just be minimalist modern Mega Man. Mm-hmm. And then I went over to my buddy's house and his wife was making her costume, and it was this full-blown Ariel outfit, like seashell bra and tiara and mermaid skirt. I'm like, well, I'm going to be underdressed for this. So I made my arm cannon and just had a sleeve, arm cannon sleeve.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of dressing up, I was at Comic-Con yesterday.
Ooh.
But I wasn't dressed up.
Why not?
I don't know. I always think every year when I go, I'm like, oh, I should dress up as something, because so many people do, and they have just really awesome costumes. But I never know what to do. I
think it would be
a lot of people
awesome for the first hour, and then be like, well, I'm bored with this.
I don't think, like if I went, I'd have to be quite minimal, because I'd hate the idea of carrying around a massive sword all day or something.
Yeah, Cloud's Buster sword or something.
Get in the way of everyone.
And then everybody wants to take pictures, and you can't really enjoy the con.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, but cosplayers, like, it's quite expensive as well if you're doing it well, like buying all the right gear and stuff. And
definitely,
I mean, I saw when we were down at that one in London, Tom. I remember when we saw the people dressed up as the characters from Final Fantasy 13.
Oh yeah, like a whole cast of them as well.
Yeah, it was great. They looked really good.
No, it's pretty cool. Like, it is impressive when you see the amount of time people really put in. You think that must have taken you weeks and weeks. You must have been waiting months for this moment.
Yeah, there's some people who just shuffle by with a bit of face paint.
Yeah, or like marker pen on their arm. The guy is dressed as Kratos, and he was like, he'd done it all in pen. Just looked really bad. And like, fair enough, but I think if I was going to go for it, I think you either go all the way or not.
There's a guy on Twitter who's called Retro Joe, who's very big in the retro scene, and he dressed up as the butler from Tomb Raider with the tray and everything, and then he had like he'd done the mask like but all pixelated and stuff.
That's great.
It was excellent.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I was impressed with that one.
But it's getting bigger and bigger in London. So when we went down, there were 60,000 tickets that were sold. And then this year it was 225,000.
Wow.
Jesus.
So it's kind of ridiculous. It takes over the entire XL Centre in London. And
that's how it is in Phoenix too. It's a few years ago when I first went, it was pretty small, and it's quadrupled in size since then.
It's cool to be geeky nowadays.
Oh yeah. You get all sorts of people there now. It's not the same. But yeah, it was really good. And I played a bunch of games, but it's really hard when you're playing games at these places to actually get into anything. So I gave Trails of the Cold Steel 2 on Vita a little ago, but playing an RPG halfway through and you don't really know the controls and someone's left you in the middle of a big dialogue scene, you can't really get a good feel of the game. But it was neat either way that they had these Japanese RPGs there.
Speaking of Japanese RPGs, Dan, you said you finally tried World of Final Fantasy.
I did.
Ooh.
I think it's really good, actually.
I've heard good things, apart from the grammar.
Oh, yeah. I don't think it's worth $60 right now, though.
I don't know.
With all this other shit coming out,
trailers and stuff.
Dude, the story I hear is just atrocious.
Yeah, but it's got everybody in it. It's cool.
Yeah, I think the one thing that's really drawing me towards it is the Mirage manual.
I know, it's great, that.
Oh, man. So, in case you don't know what it is, all the enemies in the game are they're called mirages, and you can capture them like Pokemon. And instead of the bestiary, where they give a description of the enemy that's pretty serious, the developers have just written really funny descriptions of each of the characters that kind of plays on the history of their appearance in Final Fantasy. Just some stupid stuff. Like my favorite one is for the Hydra, but the Ghidra, dragon-like mirage with 3 heads, each of which it's a different type of flame. Its name is not, in fact, short for Greg the Huge Industrially Designed Roasting Apparatus, but you can call it Greg if you want. Somebody break out the marshmallows. Greg's here.
I like the one for I captured a Moogle on it, and it said, it said like they're known to do anything as long as they get a role in the story.
The one for Valifor for Final Fantasy X was fun because it's like, oh, hey, speaking of nostalgia, did you know that Final Fantasy X has been remastered in high def? It's like, yeah, 3 times now.
Brilliant.
I like that. It's kind of just poking fun at itself because it's a kind of a celebration of all the Final Fantasies. So,
oh yeah.
And then I saw one for Tonbury where it said everybody's had a bad time with this guy at some point in their history.
Oh yes.
Tonberries are universally my least favorite. I think they're the coolest looking, but every time I run into one, I'm like, well, looks like I'll be reloading.
Or running away.
Oh, yeah.
I remember having to beat 30 of them in Final Fantasy VIII so that you can then face the King Tonberry.
Yes.
Tonberry King, yeah. And that, I remember having to just keep it on pause and go off and do whatever in the day and then come back to it because it just took so
you had to beat 30 in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only way I found to do that quickly is to get Squall's Limit Break and just spam it like crazy. Which is also a tactic for beating all the Final Fantasy VIII, by the way.
Yeah.
Keep Squall on low health. Just play through it.
Wasn't there a ruin in Final Fantasy IX that just had Tonberries abounding too? Towards the end of the game?
Was that not Omega Ruins in 10?
No, it's definitely a 9.
Are the Tonberries?
I can picture it. I just don't recall what it was.
I didn't know there were Tonberries in 10.
Ibsen's Castle.
Ibsen's Castle.
Where everything was upside down.
Spell it for me. Oh, there we go.
IPSEN.
That is exactly it.
And then, is that where it took all your magic away and stuff, or was that somewhere else?
I don't remember that much. I need to play through 9 again, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
I've been having a hankering. I have a hankering for it, and I don't foresee an HD remake of 9 anytime soon, if ever.
No.
I can't because I get addicted to the Chocobo side quest every time.
Is that the treasure hunt?
The treasure hunt one, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't
played. You have to hit the ground and it goes quick, and then it gets more aggressive as you go towards the treasure, and then you get better beaks. And
yeah, I forgot about that mini game. It was fucking crack.
Especially when you start getting the chocographs, you can start finding things in the world. Oh man,
no, I haven't played and finished 9 since I don't know 10 years ago, maybe.
Wow.
So I would definitely play that again at some point.
I played through it a couple of years ago, actually, and it's still fantastic.
No, yeah, I do like it.
I played another game recently that I've been meaning to talk to you guys about for a while. I picked it up when I was on vacation back in Wisconsin. It's called Azure Striker Gunvolt for the 3DS. Have you guys heard of that?
Is that the one you mentioned?
You might have mentioned it, yeah.
Yeah, it is the tits. Apparently it's been out on Steam for quite a while, but it's a better reimagining of the Mega Man series than Mighty Number 9.
All right. So you love it then.
Oh, it's insane. I played through the entire first game in like 2 days. So the one you can get on 3DS, you can get the Striker pack, I think it's called, and it comes with both Azure Striker Gunvolt 1 and 2. But the combat system is super unique. You don't actually directly hurt enemies with your bullets. Your bullets tag them, and then you use this electrical charge to destroy them. So you can tag up to 8 enemies on the screen and then jump up and you shoot out this electrical charge to kill them, and they've all got a certain amount of shield that you have to pull down. And the more tags you throw on an enemy, the more damage you'll cause.
All right.
It's super fun. I mean, it is a basic Mega Man clone with a variation on the combat system. Super fast-paced, a ton of fun.
Speaking of fun, I finished Vice City this week as well.
Oh, goodness.
Actually got to the end.
Ooh.
Just of the main story?
Yeah, but my God, that last mission, I forgot how hard it is.
What was the last mission again?
Where you're in the mansion, and Sonny comes down from Liberty City. Lance betrays you. You have to kill Lance, defend the safe from countless mafia goons, and then go up to the roof where you have to kill there's about 8 people shooting you at the same time, and if you don't kill them quickly, you're dead. And then after that, you have to go back down and fight Sonny as well and kill him.
14-year spoiler. That's correct.
You already ruined Final Fantasy X for Tom, so...
He's not going to finish it, is he? He's had months.
Have you finished it yet, Tom?
No. I'm in Zanarkand.
Nowhere near. Nowhere near.
Yeah,
Really?
not close.
Dude, you've got the entire optional Monster Arena side quest to go yet.
But if you remove the optional areas, how much?
You have to do the optional areas, I'm afraid.
Then it's
Then it doesn't make them optional.
Yeah, but they're worth doing.
I don't think you understand what the word optional means.
Eric, did you ever get Lulu's ultimate weapon?
No.
Because I'm sorry, but it's impossible to...
Her attack sucks anyways.
Yeah, who uses Lulu?
Yeah, but you have to...
God.
It's just for completion. You have to dodge 200 lightning strikes in the Thunder
no,
Plane.
I did get that. I did get that. Yeah.
Oh.
Bloody hell.
I was a teenager. I had nothing else to do.
I would always get up to like 50 and then panic and then just lose it.
Oh, damn. No. I mean, I don't
It's
think...
optional, but you have to do it, Tom.
I don't... It's compulsory, but entirely up to you.
Yes.
I don't know. I'm checking the guide, and I think it doesn't look like I'm that far away. Just a few bosses to go. So, 38 hours I've played so far. It's a lot.
38? Well, you're just playing it on the Vita, right?
Yeah. I just chime in every now and again before bed, 20 minutes. Do a bit of grinding. Get that sphere grid going.
I got up to Zanarkand years ago, and I just wasn't strong enough to kill anything in Zanarkand.
Yeah, I'm finding that as well. That's why I'm having to grind, and I don't like grinding.
I think that's the one game that got me back into just straight up grinding. So whenever I go back and play the other Final Fantasies, like when we played through 8, I just did level grinding until I was stupidly powerful, and then the last half of the game was way too easy. But it's because of my time with Final Fantasy X where I just had to pop back and just grind for 10 hours.
I made a mistake where I missed a couple of spheres as Lulu, and I just manually moved my way all the way back, and then unlocked that sphere, and then manually moved all the way back to where I was, and it just really meant that she was severely underpowered for a lot of the game.
So are you playing it with the original sphere grid or the new one where you can go wherever, whenever?
Oh, I didn't even know there was one where you could go wherever you want. I've always played the version where you have to take it one step at a time. I haven't played the remaster much. I have it on PS3 and only played a few hours of it. But from what I recall, there's a variation in the sphere grid where you can
you can be a little bit more strategic with it, but if you mess up, then it locks you out from part of the story. Like, you have to know what you're doing.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I don't know. It's I'm really struggling with the sphere grid, but it is a nice method. It's an interesting aside from just leveling up your stats as standard.
Yeah, the sphere grid's great. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, but it looks awesome on the Vita. So, and it's neat to play. Overall, I'm enjoying 10 on Vita. The only problem is that it's using the remastered soundtrack and not the original.
You can switch.
No, not on the Vita version.
Ooh.
Only on PS4.
Yeah, they messed with some audio stuff on there that I didn't like the new battle
it sounds,
victory theme.
It's overly orchestrated and epic.
So. That is one thing that I did notice when I played it.
I noticed that Tidus's face got more womanly as well. It was very odd.
Ooh.
I quite liked that.
For as much as I really liked about that game, I just could not get behind Waka. I did not like him as a character.
Waka.
Oh god, and don't even get me started on Blitzball.
Blitzball.
Does anyone know how to play Blitzball?
I have never won a single match of Blitzball in all of my years playing.
Blitzball is excellent.
It's terrible.
So difficult.
No, it isn't.
Dan, is it possible to win that first Blitzball match?
Yeah.
Yes.
You get a trophy for it on the PS3, 4 Vita.
I win them all the time. You have to make sure you get Tidus's jet shot, and then you can win all the time.
Which you can easily miss getting, can't you?
Yeah.
Because I didn't get it.
It's a daft mini-game on the boat.
Yeah. And then you don't get to try it again, though, if you miss.
No, you don't. I think there's only one attempt.
Yeah, which is just...
But if you have the jet shot, basically you go near the goal, do it, Tidus takes out two people who are blocking the shot, and then 9 times out of 10 you score a goal. So...
It's just there seems a lot of depth to it, and I just don't know what I'm doing. Like when
you want to try the one in Final Fantasy X too, where it's more like a Blitzball management game. That's even harder.
Jesus. So you're not even playing?
No, I think you just manage the teams. Yeah.
Oh, like an NFL head coach.
Here's
a game that you don't play.
Like Mutant League Football.
Oh, dude, Mutant League Football is awesome.
The management version.
Yeah.
If only there was such a thing.
With less death.
I played that with you, Eric, over the Atlantic. And it was
awesome.
And I had no idea what I was doing, Dan.
Well, because you don't understand real football.
I don't understand the American version of football, yeah.
The only version of football.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go down this road. I mean, let's just go right off the pavement and
I'm
take at it.
taking a right turn or a left turn, whatever the saying is.
Either way is acceptable.
And I can't go down that route. Mutant League Hockey. There you go. That's one we can.
There we go. Yeah, like field hockey.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Jess isn't here to defend herself.
Screw that girl. That sounded really sinister. Screw that
and
girl.
pervy.
Yeah. Sorry. My bad.
And pervy. Guys, we're probably needing to get on to our game of the week.
Probably.
Oh, wait. First of all, I got a package in the mail yesterday from one of our trusty listeners.
Oh.
Mr. Mark Haddock sent me a package from Down Under.
What? Shout out to Mark Haddock.
Mark Haddock. So apparently he was listening intently to the show and remembered that I requested kangaroo jerky. And that's what he sent me.
Is it lovely?
I haven't tried it yet because I got it at 2 a.m. And while it sounded delicious then, I held off.
It's probably for the best. You probably would have been on the shitter all night.
Yeah. What, Tom?
It arrived in the mail at 2 a.m, did you say?
No. It arrived yesterday, but I was out till 2 a.m.
Gotta say, that's a slow delivery service.
Or a great delivery service.
Oh, yeah. Anybody that arrives at 2 a.m, that's great.
Not if they want a signature.
Well, apparently anybody who delivers to my house just thinks my front door can sign for packages. Fucking on track. Signed by FD. Oh, FD, that must be front door.
I think it was Franklin D. Roosevelt, actually.
Yes, he frequents my abode quite often.
Wow.
So this week, since it is Halloween, I told you last year that this was coming. It is Silent Hill 2 week.
Oh my god.
I never thought we'd play it.
I've been waiting for this for a year.
I'm still having nightmares.
Dan is still cleaning the poop out of his pants from last year's 5 minutes of gameplay of Silent Hill 1.
Hey, I got up to the school.
So 5 minutes of gameplay.
No, it took me a good hour because I wouldn't dare go anywhere.
God.
Amazing. Yeah.
So we had a bet. We
did.
From a few weeks ago. I bet you that if you finished the game, I would pay for it because you didn't want to buy it. And I think we need to put this out before we dive into our analysis of the game.
Mm-hmm.
We need to put this out to the listeners because
shut your face.
It was what I assume to be a well thought out and described bet. You decided to try to circumvent the rules.
Well, I think you'll find that you didn't set any rules apart from finishing the game. So you are talking out of your arse cheeks, as usual.
The bet was that Dan just had to finish the game. I bet he would finish the game.
Okay, you're talking bullshit.
Dan, our lovely, esteemed video game expert extraordinaire since childhood, decided to play on easy.
My God.
Easy.
Shocking.
I thought you were an actual gamer.
Tom, what difficulty did you play it on?
Absolutely shocking.
Tom
is not the subject of scrutiny here. I didn't have a bet with Tom. I couldn't give a shit less.
You give him
Tom
so much shit earlier for playing on easy.
Yes, but you're the one under the gun right now.
Oh, sod off.
Seriously.
If it didn't count, they wouldn't leave it in as a difficulty.
Yeah, it's for the babies.
I am a baby with horror games. You know this.
So every game you play from here on out, it's always going to be in the back of my mind. Oh, I bet he played it on easy.
Maybe it's not too bad because the version I played, there's also a difficulty called beginner.
Oh God.
Which is
they just lift all the fog and just you watch somebody play it and there's no enemies?
It's where the mannequins heal you.
Oh.
the nurses, they just heal you instead of hurting you.
Yeah, so
But also I will justify my defense of this anyway. So sorry,
go ahead and try.
Go ahead first. Basically, I thought when I started playing this, I would never get through it. So I thought the only way I'm going to get through it is if I play on the easiest difficulty. And looking back, I wish I started on normal because I actually really enjoyed this game and I would quite like to play through it properly. And in terms of the bet, I've already said to you, I don't expect you to pay for it because I enjoyed the game that much. So,
yeah, but then you'll always have that over my head of like, yeah, well, you didn't hold up your end of the deal. Deal's a deal.
I won't because I'm not a pedantic arse like you.
When you're talking cash dollars, a deal is a deal.
Real American Peterson always pays the debts. Let me pay you in real, hard-earned American currency, the dollar.
You're listening to Redneck Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
I always pay my dues.
I'm going to pay you in pennies.
All of our props are supplied by IKEA, of course.
Yeah. I wonder how much it would cost me to send 1,600 pennies over.
Probably more than it would to send
much.
a check.
I mean, it'd totally be worth it. Here you go, Dan. Have fun cashing these.
So what is the difference between a penny and a cent?
Nothing. It's like the same difference between a quid and a pound.
Yeah, but penny is actually the unit of currency over here, so...
What's a penny?
A penny, 1p.
Same thing here.
Yeah, but you say cent more than penny, don't you?
No.
Yeah.
That's just confusing.
So is quid. Quid has no bearing on money at all.
This is not come from Cockney Ryman slang.
Huh?
Come from Cockney Ryman slang.
Give us a quid, mate.
Like apples and pears means stairs. Dog and bone means phone.
The trouble and strife is wife.
Yes. Going into the dog and bone, you slag.
We're having some problems with trouble and strife.
I just ran up the apples and pears and into the dog and bone, you slag. I'm Ronnie Pickering.
Who?
Ronnie Pickering.
Who?
What?
Who's that?
Me, you daft cunt.
Ooh, Tom dropped the
Don't you know who I am? I'll get my trouble and strife onto you. Anyway, Silent Hill.
Silent Hill.
When you guys started the game, as well as having beginner, easy, normal, hard, I could also choose the difficulty on riddles.
Yeah, I had mine on mega hard for riddles.
Oh, bullshit.
Oh, shit. Okay, so this evens out a little bit then.
Yeah.
That is one colossal pile of huge British shit.
What is it? You have to have knowledge of like players and stuff, right, to answer some of the riddles.
No, so I was looking back through your pictures that you posted before you told me you played it on easy, and you just strategically decided to leave the bottom half of the save screen out of those pictures.
That was not on purpose.
Oh, bullshit.
It really wasn't.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
I don't know about you. No wonder you can play so many games. You play them all on their easiest difficulty.
I do not.
Well, I can't believe you now. You have shattered
Your
part of
reputation.
my trust. Yeah. I thought you were better than that.
Oh, fuck off. I quit.
It's okay. When Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out, you can play that one
There's
on
so many
easy.
questions
Thank you.
now.
I hope Final Fantasy 15 has an easy mode for you.
I hope so. I hope so too.
Yeah.
There's
It's
so many
okay.
questions now.
The games can be hard, Dan.
Yes, they can.
And it's like when Dan got all 100 hidden packages on GTA 3, were they all just in a straight line?
And there was only 6 of them.
Yes, I had a special version of the game made especially for me.
I mean, they have to accommodate everybody in the gaming culture now.
You're all
I
winners.
refuse to accept this because Tom played on easy as well. So
Yeah, but I didn't have a bet with Tom.
but your bet is null and void because I didn't
Well,
take it up.
I did play the game when it was easy. I do have an excuse, but we can get...
What? Let's hear this one.
Oh, right, okay, here we go. So I searched for a few weeks for this game to buy it on the PlayStation 3 because I didn't have my PS2. So I thought I'll just pick up the HD collection. There's 2 games in one. It's going to be all up-res. It might even be a better experience. That
Which it's
game
not.
broken as shit. And I had started on normal. I got as far as just about at the start of Brookhaven Hospital. And I just couldn't deal. It kept hard freezing. When you start the game, you know how you start some games on PS3 and it installs?
Yeah.
It takes 10, 15 minutes. This game, every time you start it, reinstalls. And
What?
It's really,
Every time?
yeah. Super dumb. The fog is much thinner, so it really ruins the mood and the kind of look of the game. So it exposes things that you shouldn't see. So it's kind of just really pulls you out of the experience. The aesthetic is completely distorted because Silent Hill 2 normally has that kind of that grainy look, and that is removed, so it's polished, which, you know, it's supposed to look better in quotes, but it completely ruins the game. The FMVs are stretched to fill the widescreen frame,
How did this get past publishing?
The original, that you can choose when you start the game between the original voices and the new ones. And if you choose the new voices, they don't sync with the animations. The HD version is just really.
You seen Mary? She's dead.
Really choppy, really choppy, really broken. Like it freezes a lot, and every time you're running down the road and a monster appears, the game just very briefly locks up. So just all the immersion and any surprise is just completely removed from the game.
So really, you have two early ones, isn't you? You have the radio and the game freezing.
Yeah.
When a monster turns up.
I mean, there aren't many, if any. I think one I remember jump scare in the game. There's very few, but that would be completely taken away. So
okay, I can forgive that.
So then I got my PS2 from my mum, which had Silent Hill 2 on it. And I had an old save file, which was from the first apartments. So I just started from there. And yeah, it was uneasy. But at this point, I was like, I just need to finish the game because it was getting late. So I just kind of finished it. I could have started again. It's not an amazing excuse. But
I mean, that's a better excuse than I'm just a baby and chose easy.
Jess played on easy as well.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she did.
She's not here to say that.
She said it on WhatsApp.
Not confirmed.
Yeah, Jess did it on Mega Hard. Riddles on Impossible.
Oh, shit. Nice one, Jess. You're better than us.
Silent Hill 2, the story, if there is a story to be discerned, follows James Sunderland, who gets a letter from his dead wife to meet him at their special
would ring
place.
Alarm bells.
Yeah. She died 3 years ago and I got a letter from her. She's totally in Silent Hill. Totally.
I'm in my...
I'm going to go check it out. The game opens with him staring into a mirror.
Mirror.
And I forget what he's waxing poetic about.
He's like, strange. Couldn't possibly be true.
But I gotta be here.
Can dead people really write letters? Something like that.
He looks in the mirror. Have you seen my wife? Mary? She's dead. She wrote me a letter. She's a girl.
She's in our special place.
Yeah.
I have the actual script if you would like to indulge.
Oh yeah, send it.
Please.
So we can...
Who would like to be Mary?
Let's see here. We'll go with this. I'll be James. Where is this? Oh no, we don't want to read all of that. Holy cats.
In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill. And so on.
And so on. Good job. Game, credits, fade to black, done. That's Silent Hill 2. No, so Mary basically sends him a letter saying, I'm in our special place waiting for you. And apparently years ago, James and Mary went to Silent Hill based on a brochure that they found. It looked really quaint and cute, and they spent time there and really enjoyed it. And Mary always wanted to go back, but they were never able to. And she died and sent James a letter, I'm here, come find me. So James, instead of going, yeah, fuck that, says, oh, okay, let's go find her. And that's where the game kicks in.
Cheryl.
He just sees Harry walk around. Cheryl comes up to James. You seen Cheryl? No, you seen
my
Mary?
wife, Mary? She's dead.
Oh, Cheryl's not. She's a little girl, but 9. This tall, black hair, named Cheryl.
I got a letter.
Is her name Mary? No, it's Cheryl.
James, I think we both have some inner demons to address.
It'd be the worst conversation between those two. Cheryl? Mary? Mary? Cheryl? She's dead. No, she's a little girl.
Mary's a little girl? I'm not sick.
Mary, the little girl's dead? What?
No, my wife.
Well, I got a letter.
I saw her.
Your wife's a little girl?
I saw
Cheryl?
I saw a woman, Maria. Who? Maria. She looks like my wife. What?
Cheryl?
But Mary's dead.
What the fuck, Harry?
It's like all this has been controlled by a dog.
Spoilers. So the game kicks off. He's at a rest stop. The road is under construction. He can't drive any further, so he has to walk his way into Silent Hill. And I really enjoy this beginning because when you walk outside the bathroom, things look semi-normal. It just looks like a foggy Pacific Northwestern day. Like, yeah, there's a lake. It's kind of foggy. Here we go. We're just going to walk in. James doesn't notice anything out of the norm because that's just how this town is. But you start walking down that path, and Silent Hill does such an excellent job of setting atmosphere in terms of visuals and audio. And I think this part is super important because the audio in this game is completely dynamic. You're never going to hear the same things in the same spot twice. It's completely random. I don't know if you guys knew that.
I did not.
But if you sometimes they designed the game as such that certain things will just randomly play. Like sometimes you'll hear heavy breathing, sometimes you'll hear a scream, or you'll hear a pig squealing, or just random shit throughout the game in just random spots, which really sets that tone of just like, this is really unnerving because you truly don't know what's happening. But as you descend down this path towards the lake, the fog gets heavier. You start hearing these random noises in the distance, and it just kind of sets this tone of, okay, something really unnerving is going on. But James doesn't seem too bothered by it.
No, he seems completely indifferent to everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Certainly at the start, anyways. Just
go ahead.
No, just exactly that. Just sprinting towards the fog. I'd be shit scared. I wouldn't bother.
He doesn't care. He's got to go find his dead wife.
I
He got a letter, you know.
True. I didn't know that though. They must have had some kind of just programming algorithm that would randomize sounds entirely based on where you are.
I noticed it's quite often I heard the sound of sounded like a wheelchair, kind of a creaky wheelchair coming towards you. Did anybody hear that? I think it was mainly when the radio was crackling.
Huh.
Oh, geez.
The other thing, too, I was reading about more of the development. They recorded over 100 different sets of footsteps so that you wouldn't necessarily hear the same set of footsteps over and over and over and get redundant, just to add more of that atmospheric tone.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy. No,
But that descent down into Silent Hill it's long, but it does such a great job of setting up, like, you're going into the unknown. He knew what was out there before, but now he's delving into this, and it's not like loading screen, okay, boom, I'm in Silent Hill and everything's gone to shit. It gradually eases you into the horror of this game.
Yeah, that's what's interesting about. Like, you don't encounter any monsters down that path. Like, I was expecting a monster to jump out at any second, because that
would have been the Resident Evil way to do things.
Yeah, because I've always thought that Silent Hill would be more kind of jump scare focused, but it's not. It's more kind of the unnerving psychological horror kind of aspect of survival.
Well, I think that's something we talked about a little bit last year too, that you can't compare Silent Hill to Resident Evil because they're two completely different genres of games. Resident Evil, I think, it plays on your fear of the known. You know there are zombies. You know why those zombies exist. Mm-hmm. Silent Hill is this huge fear of the unknown. It's a psychological horror that plays on everybody's inner demons. Yeah,
it's all based on these different themes that I'm sure we'll get into. But it's purely psychological in terms of its horror. And I feel like the challenge of Silent Hill is simply seeing the game through to the end. Like, because it's not like a really difficult game, and it's not like there's not a ton of enemies to kill and get through. There's no challenge there. I feel like the challenge for me was actually finishing the damn thing.
Yeah, because I honestly thought I wouldn't get through it, because last year when we played Silent Hill 1, I let my fear get the better of me, but I just kind of said, what am I scared of here? Let's just play it. And then once you get past, because I'm not a fan of jump scares, but I'm not too bothered by the psychological horror thing. And then once you get past that, you kind of you get into a rhythm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't change the fact that it's still unnerving. The thing that I like about this game versus when I play the Resident Evil games, you're right, there are jump scares. They pop out and it startles you. Whereas this game, you get that cold tingling shiver that goes down the back of your spine and down your legs and into the base of your feet when you see something unnerving. That's the type of horror games that I like. I'm not a fan of jump scares just because I think it's a cheap horror trick. They're super easy to predict. This is just completely different style of being scared, and you can so easily immerse yourself into this.
Yeah. The one thing I do like about the occasional jump scare is that they can be purposefully used to keep you frosty afterwards. They kind of, you kind of wonder, is another one about to happen? But there are only I can only think of 2, and they may not even been on purpose, but there were 2 times in Silent Hill 2 where I actually just kind of leapt out of my skin kind of thing. And, I thought it was going to happen again, and it just didn't. Instead, I was faced with this unnerving fear and just feeling so trapped in every situation. So
you never know what's going to happen when you go into a room, do you? You never know what's going to. It could be an empty room, or you could, as soon as you get in there, your radio starts going nuts, and you know there's a monster.
Yeah, and many.
That's important to note too. That you, just like in the first game, you have the radio with the static. If you guys want to increase the terror of this game, turn the radio off.
Oh God, no.
Oh yeah, you could do that on Silent Hill 1 as well.
Yeah,
I remember.
So you pick up a radio, it gives you static whenever there's an enemy near. So it gives you a little bit of, I think it works well for a couple reasons. First of all, it doesn't detract from the horror because the static, the volume of the static is directly correlated to the distance that the enemy is from you. So if it's really slowly starts crackling, you're like, okay, shit, where is it? So it still plays on that without detracting from okay, I know there's an enemy near, I don't need to be scared.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but with the environments, of course, there usually is multiple ways you can go. So you don't know which. It doesn't give you an indication of direction. So you could just walk one way, then the next thing you know, you're next to the monster. It's like, oh God.
Yeah, something that I would say about that opening, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes of just constantly running down this kind of country path through the fog, and it taking a long, long time. It feels like a little bit of a cross into a play on James kind of descending into Silent Hill, but also into his own kind of madness, into this own crazy world.
Oh, we're getting metaphorical.
That's something too. After we describe a little bit more of the actual game, I think we need to talk about what this game is trying to accomplish and what's actually happening, because you can just take it at face value. This is a city with a bunch of fucked up shit that this guy visited, or as Silent Hill is known to do, it's a psychological thing, especially if you've seen the movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the game itself, I think, improves upon everything that the first Silent Hill did. The only thing is that it can be a little confusing where you need to go. Lots of backtracking. Some of the puzzles are just completely asinine.
Well, standard from last year.
Oh, yeah.
Why couldn't you just smash the case?
Yeah.
So true.
But they kick off. There's only 6 characters in the entire game, and they kick it off right away. The first person that you meet is in the graveyard, Angela Orozco, and she's in this graveyard where she meets James and says, "No, don't go to Silent Hill. It's not safe." And he's like, "No, I gotta find my dead wife. See ya." But she kind of sets the tone for okay, people are a little goofy here.
Yeah, people don't seem to have a conversation with you. They kind of just say what they want to say, glossing over anything that James says, almost as if he's not there sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, his dialogue is really bad, so maybe they just don't know how to respond to him.
True.
The
dialogue in this game is horrid. Very, very, very bad.
But at the time, a lot of reviewers said it was really good. Which is...
And they said that the animation was great.
That's not bad.
So I played this when it first came out, and there have been a lot of horror games since then. What's the one on PS4? Outlast. I mean, that game is pants-shittingly terrifying.
God, yeah.
So going back to Silent Hill 2, it may not be as scary as it was when you first played it, but first playing through it, this game was top-notch. It was the tip of the nipples.
I love that phrase.
Yeah,
it's great. So how do we want to break? Do we just want to go through everything, or what do we want to do? How do we want to dissect this?
I guess we go kind of chronologically through the game and kind of pick bits off and
just not as long as last year's.
No, last year we spent a lot of time.
Maybe just.
I don't think we need to cover everything.
No, the main keystones.
Yeah.
Let's begin at the apartment.
This is my biggest memory of this game, mainly because I think this is one of the scariest portions of the game because it's the first part that delves you into, like, there is some shit happening here.
Yeah, I don't, like, when I first started playing this, Eric, I wasn't bothered about being outside on the streets because it's nice and open, but as soon as I got in that apartment, I just saved it and switched it off because I was like, you know what, this looks terrifying.
And it's so quiet in the apartment.
And you don't have your flashlight yet.
Yeah.
And that's where I came into an issue. I was sending you guys some pictures. I was playing this on PS2 on my HDTV using composite. And it was, I had the volume or the brightness cranked all the way to 7. Still couldn't see jack shit. The minute I switched it to component, crystal clear.
Huh. You're welcome.
Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so you're stumbling through these apartments, and James still doesn't really know what's going on at this point. He's come across a few enemies, but he still just thinks, okay, something goofy's happening. Let's go to these apartment buildings, and hopefully somebody's here. But until you find that room with the flashlight on the sewing mannequin, you're just kind of pressing up against the walls, trying to find these doors to click into, and you open a door, and boom, there's an enemy, and you just got to kind of deal with it.
Yeah, because you get a choice that you can go on all 3 floors, and each floor has a ton of rooms. And also, I missed the first, when you walk into the apartment, I missed the map on the right.
Yeah, don't miss the map.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which is always, like in Silent Hill 1, it was always the main thing when you went to a new area was to try and find the map as soon as possible. And yeah.
What's handy about the map is, though, he scratches out rooms when you can't access them and stuff, so you know which ones you can go in.
Or if you get to a room that has a puzzle that you can't solve, he'll make a note of that puzzle in that room.
Yeah.
It makes it easy to figure out where you need to go.
Definitely, but I did have to keep bringing the map up a bit too often because of the kind of the camera angles would get a bit funky. Yeah. Like I'd get, like some of the rooms, the camera would change 2 or 3 times in one room because you had those little closets or those little bathroom area.
It's like trying to go through doors in Landstalker.
Oh God.
Yes.
Don't remind me.
Yeah.
Exactly that, yeah. So.
You know that you can press L2 and have it go behind you, right?
I didn't know that
in certain situations. It doesn't always work.
No.
Yeah.
But the one thing that's really important to notice, and I'd forgotten about this till Dan mentioned it, is James will look at things that are in the room that you can interact with.
Yeah, I love that. That was really useful.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that a lot in games, even nowadays.
Yeah, it just added that extra element of discovery. Because a lot of games, they'll put like a twinkle on an item so you can see it, but they didn't do that because I think that would have detracted from the atmosphere.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And they don't make the boxes of ammo brighter. They don't make them stick out in any way, shape, or form. It's just you have to look for his head looking at something.
But that is really good game design because it does add to that level of immersion. Like it's also on Rise of the Tomb Raider. She looks at things when she's going past them, and I've found loads more.
There's no HUD in this game.
Yeah. It would have just removed it. Imagine if there was a big Google Map pin just pointing at everything on the screen.
Yeah, that would not have been good.
It looks so stupid. Yeah.
The only thing that I struggled with in the apartments was getting the old man coin. So you have a clock to get through a wall, then you need 3 coins, and I had 2, and I just could not remember where the old man coin is. And then I remembered you have to shove the 6-pack of juice into the garbage chute, then go back outside, open the garbage bag, pick up the juice, or pick up the coin.
I'd love to meet the person who is meant to be behind Silent Hill messing with James's head and thinking how they come up with all these elaborate plots.
Like if he was an actual antagonist.
Yeah. Like,
let's put a coin in the garbage.
And then he'll have to throw the juice cartons down the garbage chute to get the coin.
I think what's really interesting, and this is where you really start
to get a key.
This is where you really start to notice that there's a lot of backstory behind this game that you can delve into as much or as little as you want. In terms of like reading about things that happened in the city, like Walter Sullivan, the guy who committed suicide with a spoon.
Oh, yeah.
Walter Sullivan is actually a serial killer who appears in Silent Hill 4.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting fact.
His gravestone is in the one of the graveyards you go to much later on in the game.
So is James's grave.
Yes.
And the grave of everybody else you meet.
Yeah.
You also, in this apartment block, meet Angela again. Who's she's lying in a room with a big mirror, just looking in the mirror, holding a knife. And she goes a bit nuts, and then the implication is basically she's going to kill herself with this knife. And then she hands you James the knife instead. And then apparently
she sets it down.
Apparently, if you examine this knife, it has an effect on the ending.
Yes. Yeah. There are a few different endings, and there's certain things, and they don't indicate like, oh, the ending might have changed. So even something as simple as looking at Mary's picture in your inventory or inventory for you British folk.
Thank you.
Will affect the ending. Inspecting the knife or things like that. But when you pick that knife up, it then becomes a weapon. Up to this point, you've only had a board.
Yeah, that's right. Which is badass.
No, you can't use the knife as a weapon.
You can't?
No.
Oh. I just assumed since it was a knife you could. I never tried to use it because the board was better.
If you try and do it, he says, I don't want to use this as a weapon for some reason.
James
you do find a handgun, however, in the apartment building.
Did you guys go through like a lot of physical combat, or did you find yourself avoiding the enemies more often?
I killed them every time.
I think in the apartments I was killing them, and then as I got further and further, I was doing my best to dodge around the mannequins.
I don't think I killed any outside unless I specifically had to get an item.
Yeah.
The game also tracks certain things like how you kill the enemies as well. So if you use physical attacks rather than shooting them, it tracks this kind of stuff.
Which is interesting because if you shoot it with like the main monsters, you shoot them 3 times with a gun, they fall down, but then they're still kind of writhing on the ground. So if you kick them, it counts it as a melee kill instead of a handgun kill.
All right. Okay. I find myself not using the guns.
Yeah, I didn't use
constantly using the physical weapons.
I had so much ammunition by the end of the game. I had like 300 handgun bullets, 200 shotgun shells, 50 rifle shells.
Yeah.
It was very, very abundant.
Just a point on that graveyard where James's headstone was and all the other characters. Did you guys see one that said Miriam K? And then in quotes it said traitor next to his name or her name?
Yeah, Miriam. Wasn't that Mary?
No, I don't. Maybe, but it just
or Maria.
It says
Maria.
It says Miriam. Maybe that's the full. I don't know. Miriam K and traitor. But like, I was reading somewhere. It's not like confirmed to be true, but that the reason it has that traitor in quotes is that Miriam K was a developer that quit halfway through the development cycle.
Oh, really?
Oh, shit.
Yeah. But I don't know if it's totally true or not, but I just was doing some reading on Silent Hill 2 the other day and saw it.
Yeah. So I think it's important to note that in the apartments is when you meet 3 different times what I still consider to be one of the best villains of any video game. Pyramid Head.
Oh, God.
I don't know if you noticed this, but in one of I think it was the second floor, as you're walking down one of the hallways, there's a grate.
Yeah, he's standing there. I saw him.
He's standing on the other side of it. You go into the room, and then you go into that room later, and he's in there rogering some mannequins. James slips into the closet and just kind of peeks through. Pyramid Head starts coming towards him, like, okay, this is it, I'm going to die. And he just unloads his gun into him, and when he just opens his eyes again, he's gone. So you never actually physically hurt Pyramid Head, as is pointed out with the first boss battle, where you're in a small stairwell with him. I mean, he carries around this gigantic sword, and pretty much all you have to do is just run from one corner to the other until he decides to descend into the watery stairs.
Yeah. Which took me a little while to figure out.
Yeah, how much ammo did you waste on that, Dan?
I didn't waste any.
Oh, you're trying to hit him with a board?
I was.
Clang. You go
Because
dead.
I was playing on easy, it really didn't last very long.
Took 2 or 3 hits and he was dead.
No, it was just the running round and then the siren sounds. And does it slip into the other world then? Or no, it is in the other world, I think. And then the siren.
I don't think there is a Nightmare Apartments.
No, there's not. The first time you go into the other world is at the hospital.
But is this not when Pyramid Head comes? Is that not when it briefly goes into the other world? Because I'm sure the siren is meant to signify the other world.
Yeah, I think you're right. But I don't think it slips into the other world.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know at this point. But if you think about it, that's probably what happens. You also meet 2 other characters in the apartments, which we'll just briefly go over, which is Eddie.
Eddie is awesome.
He's a fat guy who's been sick into a toilet.
That throwing up noise is so bad.
You also meet...
Apparently, it was supposed to be worse. They had to tone it down. There's supposed to be a lot more intense vomiting audio and visual.
Awful.
They did really well with that audio because it's fucking revolting.
Eddie is such an interesting character. I think he's one of the most interesting in the game. You start to discover that everybody here has their own personal demons that they're dealing with.
Yeah.
They're here for a reason. Obviously, James is here to find his dead wife. Angela has, as we discover later, she has daddy issues.
Yeah.
And then Eddie has anger and angst issues from being picked on.
Yeah.
When you first meet him, he's vomiting. He's like, I swear I didn't do it. I didn't do it. James is like, what are you talking about? He's like, I didn't kill him.
And there's a dead body in the room next to him, isn't there?
Yeah, he's like, he was here, like he was like that when I got here.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
The question is, though, are these people really here? Or are they in James's mind? Or are they monsters?
Let's get to that after we talk about the game, because I've got some interesting thoughts on that.
My favorite.
You also meet the little girl as well. What's her name?
Laura.
Yeah, who kicks a key out, which James is reaching for.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's really interesting because she is the only one who doesn't seem to think that anything is wrong.
Yeah.
But she knows something about Mary, and that's what intrigues James about her. And that's why James keeps following her. And essentially, the game is him trying to chase down Laura to find out what she knows about Mary.
Yeah. Actually, Eddie... that scene with Eddie is one of the funniest lines when he's like, Eddie, how can you just sit here and eat pizza? There's monsters outside.
Oh, isn't that that's when he's in the bowling alley? That's later.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's not the... That's
Where
not
did you get the pizza from?
There are pizza parlors in Silent Hill.
But are they open?
See, we'll just hold on to that thought, because I think there's an explanation for all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Eric has pizza theory.
Prep your tits.
He's one
for
honest
pizza theory. Yes. You also meet, after you exit the apartments, you head down because you're trying to get to Rosewater Park, because that's where James thought their first special place was. When you get down to the dock on Rosewater Park, he sees a figure in the distance who looks very much like Mary. And it turns out not to be Mary, but somebody called Maria. He's like, you look exactly like her, even down to the sound of your voice. The only thing that's different is your hair color. And Maria is this kind of psycho, clingy, needy woman who's trying to get James to want her.
What became immediately apparent to me is the way she's dressed, very kind of like a prostitute. Kind of.
Yes.
So, which I will get into that again later, but that's an important point to think of.
Yeah, definitely.
And this is where you can walk into the bowling alley and find Eddie with Laura eating pizza, but Maria does not come into the bowling alley with you, and I think that's important for a reason I'll explain later.
It's also interesting to note at this point, when you first meet Maria, this again has an effect on the ending, because it depended on how much time James spends with Maria and the actions you have, like how close you are, whether you listen to what she says, where to go, and things like this. This all has an effect on the ending.
Because she follows you for a good while here. Your next place that you go is Brookhaven Hospital.
You also have to make sure she's protected and not getting hit by the enemies and things like that.
Yes.
Yes, Brookhaven Hospital.
Oof.
And now you have some new enemies, nurses.
Perhaps some of the most iconic enemies from Silent Hill.
Of all the series, of all the games. And one of the hardest.
Unless you play on easy.
Yeah, I didn't get hit once.
Yeah. Wonder why. Now, they're very difficult. They take a lot of swings with the board, and this is where I just started using the handgun because I'm like, you know what? Got enough ammo. I'm assuming that I'm going to be getting more because at this point I'd already had way more than I needed, and just started using that.
If I just stuck with my board.
2x4.
Oh no! Actually, at this point, you can find the pipe on the car.
Oh,
which is...
that's real easy to miss.
I didn't get that. Which car?
There's a police car next to the gas station, or just a normal car, actually, I think, and then you pull the pipe out of the back.
Oh shit!
The one puzzle in here that really was so dumb was when you had to get a piece of hair.
Out
of my god!
Out of the most ridiculously locked box in the world.
Yeah, the two.
And then you had to hook it with a bent
clip.
needle.
A bent needle, yeah.
And then pull something.
Do these things?
Well, it's like, James, you have hair on your head. Sure, you have a shoelace.
Yeah.
This is what, I find there's two parts to Silent Hill. There's the intriguing, unnerving side of it, and then there's the completely ridiculous puzzles, which just make no sense.
Because there's so much you had to do for this lockbox. There was a keypad, then there was a turn dial that you fought Pyramid Head on the roof again. Kind of, he knocks you off into like the patient seclusion wing, and you find something written in blood on the wall that the numbers aren't necessarily that clear. It took me 15 minutes to figure it out because a 5 looked like a 7.
Yeah. And the code changes depending on what difficulty you're playing on as well.
I think it changes all the time too, because I was looking at one walkthrough of it and he was playing on normal and the code didn't match.
Ah, okay.
So I don't think it's just 3 different codes. I think it's a randomly changing one. Yeah. But you also meet a new boss in here called the Hangers. That are much easier if you picked up the shotgun.
They are easy peasy with the shotgun. Probably because I played easy, but you know.
You're in this meat locker. Laura locks you in there, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she's a bitch.
Because Laura says that you find Laura and you want to get out of the hospital with her, and she says, "No, stop. I have a letter from Mary that I need to get."
Oh, and sorry, Eric, before you get into this, there's another important plot point with Maria in the hospital, where you get to a certain room and then she decides she feels ill and she has to lie down on the bed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
and again, this has an effect on the ending. If you go back to check on her after being away for a while, this can affect what ending you get.
Yeah, I didn't do that.
No, yeah, me either. No. I left it to it. But the fact that she's ill, again, ties in with everything later on.
Yes. We'll get to it. We're setting up plot points.
But yeah, Hangers in the meat locker thing.
So Laura says that the letter is in a desk in the back. And instead of her going to get it, she's like, "No, you go get it. Go ahead. Keep going. It's further back." And then he gets in and she slams the door and locks it. And then you have to fight these weird gelatinous mouth creatures stuck in a cage that just hang from the ceiling.
They're called flesh lips, aren't they?
Yeah.
Hangers.
I'm sure they're called flesh lips.
Yeah, flesh lips.
I think they might be different for you, but they're called hangers.
Oh.
Are the hangers not the things which are under the cage when they try and attack you? I think these are called... I'm definitely sure these are called flesh lips.
Yeah, they are flesh lips. Oh, I think they're flesh lips.
Weird.
I really don't want to Google flesh lips.
I just did.
No, certainly don't. At least do it on private browsing.
I've put flesh lip Silent Hill.
And this is where it first flips into Nightmare
lips.
Hospital.
Flesh lips.
Yeah.
So after you beat the hangers or the flesh lips, it flips into Nightmare Hospital. I I didn't find the nightmare modes of this game as unnerving as I found them in Silent Hill 1.
Yeah,
No, I didn't either.
Like, the nightmare hospital or the nightmare school in the first game was
horrible.
Super terrifying.
Absolutely horrible. Yeah, it was definitely not as bad. The other world isn't used in the same sort of effective way as in Silent Hill 1, I feel. And it's almost like also Silent Hill 1 focuses a lot about on like the cult, and there's not as much of that in this game.
At the end of the nightmare hospital, you again have an encounter with Pyramid Head chasing you down a hallway with Maria behind you. And what happens here is starts a recurring theme that happens throughout the game, but only to one character. So you get to the end of this hallway and there's an elevator, and as soon as James makes it in, the door starts to close and Maria doesn't make it. But he witnesses Pyramid Head stab Maria and kill her.
Mm-hmm. Right where he's trying to open the elevator doors.
Right when he's trying to open it.
Yeah.
But she's not dead because she continues to come back throughout the game. And she's the only character that dies in the game. The only one.
No, she isn't.
And keeps coming back, sorry. She's the only one who dies and comes back.
Yeah, I was going to say. Because Eddie meets his
They
mate.
all die. But I meant she's the only one who comes back.
They're all dead. You got a letter.
Mary?
What do you
really dead, bitch?
I think in this first part of the game, like the apartments in the hospital is where some of the best music is. Some of those piano tracks. Basically, Silent Hill 1 is very industrial and lots of clanging and weird dark noises, whereas Silent Hill 2 has this lots of melodic and soothing tunes, which makes it more creepy, like music box type of sounds. Mm-hmm. It's fine when those little tunes play, normally at the end of a cutscene, and then they continue to play as you're in this weird, creepy room. It makes it so much more frosty.
I didn't notice much of the music, though.
I didn't either, to be honest.
Which I liked, because it's just this atmospheric horror.
Yeah. I feel like for me, audio is a really big thing. I mentioned this last year. Like if it really adds to the horror element for me, but I think everyone's different. That's what makes horror so interesting.
Oh yeah, audio is a clear part of this, because when I first started, I had the audio off for a little while, and then I just kind of said, why am I doing this?
Even lack of audio, like silence is awful. Just footsteps.
Yeah, because you have that always in the back of your mind when you go in a room. You're like, what is in here? Yeah. You know? And you're like, what's
there's a bathroom later in the game that if you walk up to one of the stalls, you can knock on the door.
Yeah.
And if you knock on it like 3, 4, 5 times, and then you try to leave the room, somebody screams from the stall.
Oh God, horrible. I didn't know that.
That's one of the 2 jump scares I was talking about.
I just knocked once, so.
Yeah, you have to knock a few times.
Yeah.
I mean, just unnerving things like that. That's what gets me with horror, is hearing something and not knowing what it is.
Yeah.
If it's standing in front of me and I know it, it's like, okay, this is that, I can deal with that. But it's like, if it's just a sound off in the distance or some weird groaning that I can't see, that's what puts me on edge.
Yeah. No, yeah, if you see it in front of you, you can put 2 and 2 together and your brain is able to rationalize that. But if there's a part of the puzzle missing, then you're forever wondering.
So the next portion, you spend quite a bit of time outside exploring.
Which it's also still in the other world at this point as well.
Yeah,
yes.
It's really dark.
It replaces the fog with darkness.
There's a lot of weapons and ammo to be picked up here.
This is the bit where I found it a bit tedious, when you have to go around Silent Hill collecting random items like a wrench.
There's some optional bits as well at this point, if I remember rightly. Like you can go to a bar, I think.
Yes, if you go to the bar, there is something written in blood on the wall that changes your ending.
Oh, okay. I don't think I went to the bar.
Something about James. You may as well just end it all now.
Oh, jeez. Nice message.
Yeah, I think I sent you guys a picture of it.
Neely's bar. That's it.
Yeah, yep, that's what it is. But then you eventually get to the Toluca prison. And this is where, when you walk in, you find Eddie. And this is where you start to see, this is the turning point in the game where all the characters start to just descend further into their own madness. And Eddie's one of the first ones. He walks into the cafeteria, James does, and he finds Eddie just hysterical in this, not hysterical, but he's just sitting there and he's now gone crazy. And I think this is the best quote from the game where James is talking to him. He's like, "What have you done?" And Eddie admits that he's killed somebody, but he says, "Killing a person ain't no big deal. Just put the gun to their head and pow." Like, you can just see that he's finally snapped.
Yep. He's nutter.
And
it's just after the bit where you go into the Historical Society, isn't it?
Yeah.
Did you notice the paintings in the Historical Society?
I recall them. I don't know what they are.
It's like ones of Pyramid Head and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But then you go down a really long corridor and find a hole in the ground which you have to jump into, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
This is the portion of the game where I noticed that too. Like, if you take note of how deep you're going, because you take elevators, you're jumping down holes, you've got to be hundreds of feet underground.
Yeah, I'm thinking this is kind of like a metaphor for his descent into his own personal hell.
Yeah, I think
rather
so.
than anything.
But Eddie starts to reveal a little bit more of why he snapped, because as a kid, everybody just hated him and you're a fat, disgusting pig. And he's finally snapped, and he's taking out his revenge on these people, saying, "Fine, if you're going to make fun of me, then I'll kill you too." And he actually threatens James with that. He's like, "I knew it. You're just like the rest of them." And then he leaves.
Yeah.
So Eddie, for a while, becomes one of the antagonists because you never know when he's going to pop back up.
Already.
I found the actual prison section quite unnerving.
Oh, yeah. The prison is really interesting, some of the scenes there. Like, I think the prison is the first time you then revisit Maria. I think that's the first time you see her again.
Isn't that underground, the prison, though, not the first section?
Yeah, that's the labyrinth.
Oh, shit. Yeah, you're right.
In the prison, it's the bit where you have to get the lighter and the wax to make
which makes no sense.
And a horseshoe to make a handle for a trapdoor. Oh, of course.
There's a giant steel trapdoor with an indentation that James could have just reached in and grabbed it, but no, he's going to melt wax and stick a horseshoe in it.
The horseshoe,
There's
of
no
course,
way.
you have to get by putting different plaques into a gallows.
There's no way that wax would have held.
It makes no freaking sense.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Dumb.
But when you do descend further into... Well, isn't this where you find that graveyard?
No, that's in the labyrinth, I think.
That's also in the labyrinth.
But I love at this point, James just jumps into holes with no way of knowing what's down them. Just just crack on.
And they're so deep.
Yeah. And he's fine when he lands.
Yeah, if you can't see the bottom of something, then...
Doesn't even drop a horseshoe down it to check how far down it goes.
Then you're going to break something.
Well, and then you eventually... How do you get down into the labyrinth? I forgot that.
I think it's jumping down that trapdoor.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's an elevator ride.
Oh yes, because you get the game show thing.
No, that's in the hospital.
How weird was that?
Oh, God, I forgot about that.
Super odd. Like, it goes on for ages as well.
Well, and that just goes to show, this is how deep you're going.
Yeah, true.
No, that's in the hospital.
Oh.
The game show?
Yeah, the hospital.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It is.
Because you're with
It
Maria.
has a locked thing which you have to answer the questions to.
At this point, you've already jumped down 5 holes and the elevator and that really long staircase. So you're super deep.
In your own hell.
I didn't like the labyrinth. The labyrinth was my least favorite.
I just found it like any other place.
That's interesting.
What?
You didn't have a map, so James is drawing it as he goes.
Who found Pyramid Head in the labyrinth?
Down below in the bottom room to get his knife.
Oh, yeah.
Did you get the knife,
He was
Tom?
just wandering around merrily.
Yes, I got the great knife. That's the one, right?
Yeah.
The big ass sword. Yeah, is this the area where you're just up and down ladders all the time, and I just kept getting lost, and James isn't even drawing on the map at this point, so he's totally disorientated.
Well, then you have that puzzle, the box of faces. That one was a little confusing.
Is this the same one where you have to get the 3 tomes that relate to James, Eddie, and Angela?
That was previously with like the gluttony, the oppressor, and
that's the gallows thing, isn't it?
See,
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I know. Yeah, I'll talk about that one later because there was some interesting bits on those.
Well, go because we're past that, so go back to that.
Well, so are we past where we meet Angela again, or are we coming up to that?
No, we haven't gotten to that.
Okay, yeah, we'll go up to that.
Okay.
So yeah, I think that when you're going down one of the corridors, you hear what sounds like Angela scream, "No, Daddy, please don't."
Yep.
And God, that's such a bizarre scene. Like I remember walking into that room, and it's just the room looks unlike any other. It's kind of like the walls are all like skin. Yeah, and there's all these holes.
Like portholes with these pulsing flesh things in them.
Yeah, these like pistons, like almost like pistons, like moving in and out of these, basically these holes. It's pretty on the nose what this is signifying. And, you're pretty much almost immediately faced with a boss battle, which looks like 2 people, basically on a bed having sex and on a bed between sheets made of skin. And it's just...
Well, this boss is aptly named the Doorman.
Yeah.
What do you mean, no, it isn't?
It's called the Abstract Daddy.
Is it? I thought it was the Doorman as well.
I thought it was the Doorman.
No, it's the Abstract Daddy.
And yeah...
You do research, people.
It's pretty awful. Pretty awful. It's a full-on representation of Angela and the abuse and molestation she suffered from her own father.
And that's the hell that she's going through. So we know that Eddie was going through. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Actually, no, I did do some research, and it was the boss was supposed to be called Angela's Papa. So yeah, obviously she originally had eventually killed her dad after she couldn't take the molesting anymore. So yeah, but like if you notice throughout the game up to this point that you've got the we didn't briefly touch on it, the mannequins as well. With like the legs for arms as one of the
everything's very feminine in this game.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's quite curvy and sexualized.
There is a very sexual undertone to it all, isn't there?
It's highly sexual, and like that didn't really click with me until definitely much later in the game, where it kind of all made sense. But yeah, that's a pretty awful scene.
That's even like when Pyramid Head's kind of attacking the mannequins in the kitchen. That's his sexual theme, and it kind of all ties into like. It's apparently James's psychosis with sex and stuff. Mixed up in how he feels about his wife. It's all very complicated.
Well, the Doorman boss battle too actually ends with a very the what?
Abstract Daddy.
Oh, the abstract. Okay, sorry, the Abstract Daddy boss battle ends very symbolically of what Angela actually did.
Oh.
This is a difficult boss. I actually had to reload because I didn't want to waste as many health items as I did. Because if he gets close to you, he'll suck all your life out plus some. So you have to heal halfway through him hurting you and then still heal again after he's done. So I had like 18 or 19 health kits at this point and burned through 6 of them.
Oh, geez.
Like I might need the rest of these. So I reloaded. But if you stand in one corner and just shoot him, you can kill him completely with your shotgun before he gets to you.
That's what I did.
But you actually don't kill him. Angela grabs a gun and comes up and kills him.
And then she throws the TV on him.
You're right. Yeah, not the gun. And then she runs out of the room. So it's showing you're starting to get a glimpse into these people's inner demons as well as what they actually did.
Yes.
So she's here in Silent Hill to deal with her repressed molestation issues.
Yep. It's awful.
How about the next puzzle, the Free the Innocent Man puzzle?
Oh, yeah, with the noose.
Oh,
that was cool. I really
cool.
liked that.
Yeah, I liked that. The 6 ropes hanging from the ceiling.
So there are 2 rooms. One has 6 nooses, and then yes, and then the other room has 6 hanging men from nooses. And there are 2 signs on the fence with the room with the noose eye.
Thank you. Nooses.
And it is a riddle that you need to figure out which one of the men is innocent based on this poem that's written.
Yep.
And it does change dramatically from easy to normal to hard.
All right, I was going to say it was really obvious on easy.
I mean, it was pretty obvious on mine too, but if you delve into hard and extra, it becomes very hard to discern unless you're reading about it.
Oh, that's one with the poem, like dead men, far away. And
swinging in a tree, how many dead men do you see?
And it's so weird how you go from this insanely dark scene with Angela to something like a jumped up poem with that rhythm. Like, because that was really soon after. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking through the poem for you that you guys did on easy, and mine was pretty easy to pick out because it was 3 houses into ash burned. The sheriff, with no place to turn, did spy a stranger to his town, locked him up, and beat him down. The reason that I knew that one wasn't it is because like the sheriff didn't have a suspect, so he just picked somebody. So clearly that guy was actually innocent.
All right.
So the arson was innocent.
Oh yeah. 3 houses.
Whereas all the other ones are very clearly guilty.
Yeah.
Like with promises of great return, taking gold he did not earn. You know, that one's guilty.
If you play on hard, the poem is completely different.
Are they not different for... Yeah, they're different for all of them.
Oh, okay. So...
Like, your arson one was he committed an evil crime, turned a happy home into a pile of ash, for that he should die.
Mm.
My arson one is the one where the sheriff had no place to turn.
Oh, yeah. And the
Interesting how they do that with 2 different difficulty settings.
It's even like... It's easy, normal, hard, and extra difficulty. There's 4 different poems. Like, the extra difficulty one is like, we may visit death upon the head of the sinner, but to what avail? In the name of retribution, we took part in a bitter comedy this day. And it just carries on. It's so, like, abstract, and it must be really difficult.
Yeah.
We missed an important point from when Angela is in the room with James. James goes to touch her, and she says, "Don't touch me, you make me sick." And then she says, "You said your wife Mary was dead, right?" And James says, "Yes, she was ill." And Angela says, "Liar, I know about you. You didn't want her around anymore. You probably found someone else." And then James kind of says, "That's ridiculous. I never," and then kind of trails off as if there's something more to it.
Mm.
Yeah, we're starting to get into the part where James just can't hide what
his demon
has done anymore. But the next boss fight comes almost immediately after, and you have to... This is where you find the gravestones with Walter Sullivan, Miriam Kay, Eddie Dombrowski, Angela Orozco, and James Sunderland. And the only 2 that are still open are James and the one right next to it. I don't remember who that was. I want to say it was Miriam Kay. I don't remember. There were 2 graves that were open. The others hadn't. The others had been closed. But either way, you jump down that and go into this big meat locker, and that's where you have to fight Eddie.
Oh, yeah.
And he's gone just completely mad now. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to kill you.
Yeah, he takes a shot at you, and I basically swung at him once with the great knife, and then he ran into the meat locker, and then I just got the shotgun and just stood there shooting him because his punches didn't hurt very much, and I had loads of first aid kits at this point, so I just kind of just gunned him down as quick as possible. How did you guys figure?
He wasn't too difficult.
No.
But then Eddie's gone. And the rest of the game kind of goes pretty quick from here. You end up making it to the hotel. And
after a lovely boat rowing session.
Oh, Jesus.
Which also affects your ending.
Oh.
Yeah, so you... Go ahead, Dan.
Basically, you get in a rowing boat, and then you have to actually row towards a light in the distance.
Which they never tell you to do.
No. Did you know on...
So I just sat there rowing.
Sorry.
Yeah.
On normal and easy, you just roll with the analog stick, one of them. But on hard, you actually have to use both analog sticks to do them separately.
And simulate a row, yeah.
It's just so strange.
I wish that had been on easy. That would have been quite fun.
Yeah, I just sat and held forward for like 3-4 minutes, and then I'm like, oh, this isn't right. So I started turning and saw a light and went, oh. So that's why I sat in the boat for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And they actually tell you that at the end of the game. How long did it take you to get the boat ride? Like, oh, fuck, I feel like an idiot.
Amazing.
Yeah. So you make it to this hotel, and this is where James and Mary had stayed during their special visit. And it's kind of like this final push to finding Mary. You have a few more encounters with Laura, who just seems like nothing's wrong at all.
She revealed that Mary wants to adopt her when they apparently met.
And she finally reveals that she's pissed off at James, too, because she knows that James took Mary from her.
Is this... have we already met Maria again?
Oh, yeah, she was dead.
Because we meet...
Again.
She died again, yeah.
But we see her in...
How did she die the second time?
She's just dead in a cell. You see her in a cell on the other side, and then when you finally get round the other side, she's dead again.
You know what was really cool about that scene when you find her in the cell and she's alive and she's like, oh, come round and come and get me. During that cutscene, the way it kind of cuts between different characters, you can't tell which person is actually behind bars.
Oh, yeah.
It's really cool. I didn't even realize that the first time, but I read up on it and then I watched it again and it was really cool how it's been shot. So just check that out.
Yeah, like they're both in prison.
Yeah, it's neat.
Yeah, but then she's dead again when James gets round and he's like, what's happened here?
No.
How did she die that time? Because she dies 3 times.
She's just dead in the room.
And she's got a bit of a diseased face. Like it's kind of odd. It's not a natural death.
And then you can, again, change the ending by trying to access the room.
Yeah.
Oh.
Are there any special points of note in the final Lakeview Hotel?
Only when you lose your weapons.
Oh, shit, yes. Forgot.
There's an elevator that you get in and the alarm starts going off and you don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
So then you have to go out and drop all of your items, including health kits,
and the flashlight,
ammo, flashlight.
So the first time I did this, I thought that when the weight bell went off, I kind of freaked out a bit because I thought it was like from the original Metal Gear when the alarm goes off in the lift, and it's because there's 3 other guys with stealth camouflage in there with you. Oh god, yeah! And it really scared me at the time. I don't know why, but that's what I thought. Again, I thought maybe there was some kind of invisible demon in there. So.
The only thing that I didn't like about this was that you had to fight a lot of those abstract daddy enemies at this.
They're hard if they get hold of you.
Very hard.
They kind of like crush you, kind of give you
This is the point where I'd switched from using my handgun to my shotgun.
Yeah, I used the shotgun pretty exclusively in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the other important note is that you find light bulbs in a sealed tin can in here.
Yes.
And the can opener was in a safe.
Yes.
Just locked away.
And there's also really like music boxes to find and put into a bigger music box.
I really liked that. That was a neat aspect. You find the Snow White, the Cinderella, and Little Mermaid box.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then they ask you have to put them in a certain order according to...
Not on easy, you just put them where you want.
Oh, no. So on normal, it was Seat of the Princess Who Fled at Midnight, Seat of the Princess Who Awoke from Death, and Seat of the Princess Who Spoke No Words.
All right.
So the Spoke No Words one was Little Mermaid, and then Death was Sleeping Beauty, not Cinderella. And then, no, Cinderella was a Fled at Midnight. Yeah, so that's what they were.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But then there is a nightmare version of the hotel as well.
Mm.
And after you walk into the room where Mary and James stayed, there's another cutscene with...
No, you have to have found the videotape first.
Yeah, and you go in and you watch the videotape, and it's a video of James with Mary in the hospital.
So you find out at this point that Mary was sick for quite some time before she died. And basically what happens, it kind of cuts away very fast, but you can see that James puts a pillow over her face. So it strongly implies that James has killed Mary at this point.
Yeah. So it's
Yes.
a
And then
huge
he
moment.
finally realizes that he has done this, and this is why he's in Silent Hill.
Well, who does he admit it to? He actually comes out and admits it to somebody.
Laura, I think.
Laura.
Yeah.
I think when he comes out as well, I think Angela. Do you remember when Angela's on the stairs and there's all this fire around her?
Yes.
That's a really interesting scene. They're talking and he's like, "It's hot as hell in here, like surrounded by these flames," and it's like,
but he doesn't see
but
anything.
he doesn't see it. Yeah, and I feel that's James coming to terms with his guilt and no longer
I think
repressing his feelings.
What's interesting about that particular scene too is that Angela replies and she goes, you see it too? Then she goes, this is what it's like for me all the time.
Yeah. It's cool.
But for James, the stairwell is still just this damp, musty stairwell. He just feels like it's hot in here. He doesn't see that he's in a staircase on fire.
Yeah. But
You can't actually go up the staircase, you have to leave the room, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
There is an optional...
But when you go back in, it's normal again.
Yeah. And there's an optional section before this where you can listen to a recording on some headphones, which changes the ending again.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, what's on that recording? I forgot to listen to it.
It's basically James talking to a doctor in the past about Mary's illness.
Gotcha.
And then there's a really long scene in like a corridor where you can either... Mary's talking more about what happened to her, and you can listen to it or you can run through. And depending on which one you do, again, changes the ending. So all the way through, basically, you're being assessed on what you're doing in this game. With the
let's clip ahead to the final boss here, because we got to talk about some thoughts on these characters. The final boss is actually a duo of pyramid heads.
Oh, yeah.
That you don't actually
That's the
kill.
second off last boss.
Is it?
Yeah.
Actually, no, it depends. It depends on how you've played up until this point. Because you might not face Mary
Really?
at the end. Yeah.
Eric?
No, you always face Mary. The first final boss is the pyramid head duo, and basically you just need to avoid them long enough, and they decide, you know what? We're just going to kill ourselves. You don't actually kill them.
Oh, okay.
You never actually inflict any damage, which is kind of important because I think Pyramid Head kind of symbolizes the Grim Reaper in this game. He's just out collecting souls, and you can't avoid death. Death is its own entity, and death has just decided to let James go at this point.
I thought they were more kind of a personification of James's sexual aggression.
Yeah.
Could be.
I mean, like...
But then the next boss, depending on how you've played it, you walk up these really long stairs to this warehouse-type room, and depending on how you've played, it could be Mary standing in the window, or it could be Maria standing in the window.
That's it. Yeah, my bad. So yeah, you do.
And for me, it was Maria.
It was Mary
and
for
she
me.
She takes one last shot at getting James to be with her. And when James denies her, she turns into this demon that you have to fight, shoots out these black wasps or bats that you have to avoid. And she was simple. This boss was super easy.
Yeah, because moths. Maria has a butterfly tattoo on her abdomen, which represents rebirth. And so you have these moths. Even if you face Mary as well, you have these moths. But,
So, what ending did everybody get?
I got leave.
I got graveyard.
I think that's leave.
Graveyard?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's leave.
Graveyard.
Well, no, did James actually leave the town with Laura?
Yeah, and...
Then you got leave.
Oh, okay.
And Mary's reading out a long letter.
Yeah, that's the one. It's a...
Leave.
Oh, okay.
So I got what... There's no official canon ending to this game, unlike all of the other Silent Hills, but I got the one that is most accepted as the canon ending, and that's the in-water ending, where James has the body of Mary, puts it in his car, drives into the lake, and kills himself.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. because he wants to be with her in death. And then as the car is sinking, Mary's reading this huge letter.
And then there is another ending where James can leave with Maria. And basically, Maria coughs like she's ill as well, like Mary was.
Wow.
And there is, of course, the joke ending.
Which is only on the greatest hits version or the re-release.
No, there's two joke endings. The one is on the greatest hits. The other is in the main game.
Yes, you're right.
There is, of course, there's a dog ending, which is you have to have seen all the other endings first. Then early on in the game, you can collect something called a dog key, and then when you're in the hotel, you can access a room where James finds that everything that's happened has been caused by a dog sitting in a computer
with headphones on, pushing buttons.
But he says it in Japanese.
Yeah, it's mad.
It's like, you've been behind this?
Finally, the riddles make sense.
Yeah.
Then on the greatest hits version and stuff, there is a UFO ending which continues the tradition set in Silent Hill 1, where
and it's
Harry Mason turns up and daft things happen with UFOs.
Wow.
I liked the in-water ending. I thought it was fitting.
That sounds cool. I would have preferred that one.
I was bored by the other one.
Yeah, and there's the Silent Hill, the Book of Memories, also says there's no correct interpretation of the ending of the game, but the fact that it lists in water as first kind of lends some credibility to the fact that this is the most socially accepted one. And then some of the developers, I was reading about Masahiro Ito, I think was one of the designers and illustrators, has chosen that as his canon ending. And the cover of a few of the games actually shows James holding a corpse in the water, and in water is the only ending to actually have that. Plus, there are references in future Silent Hill games. Silent Hill 3 references. There's a character, Douglas Cartland, mentions he's working on a case where a man went missing in Silent Hill. Could be James. Silent Hill 4 reveals that both James and Mary went missing in Silent Hill. And then the official novelization, which I tried reading that, but it was terrible, uses the in-water ending.
Interesting. So, did you see, just going back, after James watches the video cassette, he's kind of slumped over in his chair, and the tape is just like showing static. And if you guys remember when you're in the first set of apartments...
Oh my god, he's that guy sitting in the chair?
The guy sat exactly the same pose, and the TV on showing static. So, yeah, it feels like there's some...
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
God, this game is deep.
It is, and
so let's talk about some of the characters for a minute, because I'm not convinced that everybody is actually a real character.
I don't think Maria's real.
Maria's definitely not real.
I don't think any of them are real.
Maria is the seductive version of Mary. It's the part of Mary that James misses, because Mary is no longer able to give James what he desires, like sexually, because she's terminally ill. And
he's frustrated with everything, not just the sexual aspect, isn't he?
Yeah, and he loves Mary. But he's growing to resent her because he can't move forward with his life. And so Maria is kind of manifested out of James's desire for his wife, I think.
I read a really interesting theory on each of these characters and what they represent, because Silent Hill is a hell for James. He has to confront... Everybody who comes to Silent Hill has to confront their demons. Angela's confronting her dad. Eddie's confronting all of these people who made fun of him. James is here confronting what he did. And there's a interesting analysis that said that each of the people that he meets represents a piece of himself. Like Eddie represents James' hatred of others. Well, Angela represents James' hatred of himself. Mm-hmm. Maria represents his love of self, and Laura represents his love of others.
Yes.
Which is interesting because back to Laura not thinking anything is wrong. She never once mentions anything about the enemies. She never seems to be concerned about anything that's happening. For her, this is just a big, open, empty town with nothing scary happening because she's a child. She's still innocent, and she doesn't have any personal demons to confront at this point.
Yeah. And I think Pyramid Head is that kind of punishment for James. Like his reflection of his kind of guilt.
Yeah, hence the Pyramid Head thing.
Yeah.
Like a big torture device on the head.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
There's an ending in one of the games where Pyramid Heads turn one of the characters into a Pyramid Head.
I've not seen that.
And
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I can't remember which one it's on.
Apparently there's a lot of things in this game that also link into Silent Hill 3, but I've never played it. So I'm not sure.
Well, and I think Pyramid Head, by killing Mary, or killing Maria, also forces James to continually confront what he did by killing Mary.
Yeah.
So he's constantly, because this woman looks, by his own accord, like Mary, and he's constantly seeing her be killed. So it's continually bringing that thought to the forefront of, I killed Mary.
Yeah.
It's a very clever game, really.
It is, yeah. I was quite surprised by how much depth and meaning there was behind everything. A lot of themes.
I honestly really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like, as unnerving and weird as it is, there's so much to think about and absorb.
Well, and I think it's important too, like Tom, what you mentioned with all this, the enemies being feminine too, everything revolves around James confronting his guilty conscience with Mary. Yeah. He can't get away from it because Mary, this disease was changing her physically, is making her disgusting.
Even thinking back, like the nurse enemies are obviously that as well.
Yeah.
From his trips to the hospital to see Mary and stuff.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, true. Apparently on the PC version of Silent Hill 2, if you can like dig your way into the files, into the sound files, that first part of the letter that Mary, you hear Mary reading, it cuts off, but if you listen to the rest of the file, she ends with, "Why did you kill me?" It's like, but you would never know it because it's never actually in the game, but it's in the file. It's in the source code. It's just so, I just love
I think the last important piece to note here is that while Silent Hill is evil, Silent Hill 2 is the only game where the town never kills anybody. Angela kills herself by walking into the fire. So she was, and back to Angela too, she's here in Silent Hill to try to find redemption and forgiveness for herself and for her father. Yeah. And James, I think, is this person that's there to try to provide her with a choice. Like, choose life. You know, you can get past this, choose life, but she chooses death. Angela kills herself. Eddie is killed by James, and Laura gets out. Laura doesn't die. She gets out. The town never kills anybody. It just forces people to confront their own demons.
Yeah.
Whereas in other Silent Hill games, it's pure evil. They kill people. The town itself is torturing people. This game, it's not, which is different.
That is different. Huh.
See, I like that better than the cult thing in the first one.
Yeah. I never got behind the whole occult thing. And the movies focus really heavily on that.
Yeah. Yeah, but overall, very good. Enjoyed it.
Good. Next year, Silent Hill 3.
I knew you were going to say that.
I mean, it's the tradition. We've got like 7 of them to get through.
That's when Heather Mason comes and finds Cheryl instead.
Yeah. Have you seen my dad? His name's Harry. He's kind of an asshole.
But I got a letter. My wife's dead.
Have you played Silent Hill 3, Eric?
I've played about 2 hours of it. It is terrifying.
Oh, super.
Is that the reason you haven't gone back to it?
Yeah, it is terrifying.
It's still PS2, though, isn't it?
But why is it terrifying? How is it different? Just the atmosphere or the...
Atmosphere is much more unnerving.
Oh my God.
Marvelous.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
Kind of
very good.
Yeah.
Guys, we have to make a left turn here because we have a contest.
Oh!
But also, before I go on to that, Dan, I'm proud of you for finishing.
Thank you.
As much shit as I give you for doing it on easy.
I'm proud of myself. Honestly, I consider that to be one of my best gaming achievements to date.
Good. We have a contest that we were running this week because our very own Ricky Evans,
Ricky,
a while back, generously donated enough to our Patreon to get himself a custom Christmas stocking.
Yeah, we did.
You may recall he did win the Jeeves box.
He did.
Oh, yeah.
And got a stocking out of there. So when he donated, he said, you know what? Let's make this a contest. Let's put it out to the listeners. He wants to give his stocking away. So we put up a post on Facebook with some suggestions of stockings to make. And then you guys got to vote on them. We kicked it off with a few. After a week of voting, we have a definitive winner in the Black Mage from the first Final Fantasy.
Nice.
So I think that one will be pretty sweet.
Nice.
But in order to enter, all you had to do was submit a question. That's it.
Simple as.
And you did.
So we have to go through these questions. Some of them might take a little longer than others, but we have a bunch. First one is from Tim Davis.
Hello,
What are the
Tim.
cast's thoughts on the classic NES game Maniac Mansion?
Maniac
I
Mansion.
don't know what it is.
I have heard a lot of stuff about it, and it is on my list of ones to play simply because it's supposed to be awesome.
Oh god, it's point and click.
Oh, I've seen this, but I've never
Oh,
played it.
Lucasfilm.
Yeah, it's supposed to be awesome.
It looks like the kind of game I'd like because I'm the one that's always getting us to play adventure games, and then everyone hates me.
Sod off, Tom.
How about we put this on the list?
Yeah, why not?
No, we should actually. We should. If it's supposed to be this good, then it's worth a crack.
Where can we get it though? That's the question. Is it on Steam?
If it's a NES game,
I guess
we can
Virtual
download, can't
Console.
Is it a NES game?
we? Yeah.
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 He said the NES Classic. The clue is in the thing that you read out.
Is it? I just saw the words, didn't comprehend it. Okay, let's put that on the list. Like pronto.
Cool, and then we can make a little video.
Oh dear. Next question comes from James Getter. Since someone stole my thunder on this week's podcast, looking back over all the years you all have been doing the show, which game was the biggest pain in the ass to finish? I'm going to answer for Jess first and go with all of them.
I'm going to have to throw my hat on Landstalker, I think.
Jeez.
That was a pain in the arse.
I found Psychonauts quite hard to finish. I kept getting really stuck. It's not that I thought it was bad.
All the point and click adventure games we played.
Yeah.
I'm going to put mine on Dark Cloud 2.
Oh, really?
Not because it was a pain in the ass to finish, but because I had to overcome my desire to not want to finish it.
That wasn't the question. You need to pick something else.
And Ocarina of Time as well. That I found that because it was just so long and it just seemed never ending. It was a bit of a pain because some of the temples did my head in as well.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I mean, I haven't.
but none of them have been a real pain. Like, fuck's sake. Unless,
What about Popolo Croy? That took a while to
oh
finish.
god, yeah, that did take a while.
But it was fantastic. No, okay, not pain in the ass.
Yeah,
then.
exactly. Yeah, that's the thing.
It wasn't a pain. It just was long. Longer than I thought it was going to be.
I kind of stand by Ocarina of Time being a bit of a pain for me.
Oh, Legend of Dragoon. Just because I didn't finish it. Fuck that game.
Got missed.
Missed, we made it like 6 minutes into it. So that doesn't count. Or Turok.
I guess you guys,
got Turok.
you guys found Driver a pain in the ass.
Oh, God. I'm so glad you weren't here to defend yourself with that.
I would have as well. Quite
Yeah.
happily and easily.
No way.
Yes.
Actually, I do have a legit answer to this now that I've thought about it. Probably Suikoden.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The game was great, but it was such a pain in the ass because it just had no real hook to keep me. And I'd already started collecting all of the characters and I just couldn't stop. I'm like, I need to get all of these people. So that was, I put it on Suikoden.
Maybe you'd have, Dan, maybe you'd have Grim Fandango.
Oh, Grim Fandango.
That must have been a pain in the ass because you don't like adventure games, and this one was really obtuse.
Oh, God.
That game was so good.
But it was
Yeah, the story was, but the puzzles weren't.
the story and the writing, fantastic. but the puzzles were just so poorly linked. It felt.
It was so bad.
I mean, I didn't finish it, so I'm not going to go down that road. But you guys did.
Next question comes from Miles Prower. Have you guys tried Dead Ball Zone for the PSX?
Yes.
If so, how far did you get before you gave up in frustration and threw the controller on the floor?
Yeah, when Rocket League came out, I remember mentioning it to you, Eric. You would love Dead Ball Zone.
I do recall you talking about this.
So Dead Ball Zone is like it's a team game, and then you I don't know what you could compare it to. Kind of like Blitzball, but you're using your...
There is a picture of one guy kicking another guy in the crotch.
Yeah.
So...
You use like weapons, you have to beat the shit out of each other.
So check that picture out, Dan.
I did.
I mean, I have to go buy this
No,
now.
it's great.
Eric, you should get that game from Japan, which is all about just kicking guys in the nuts.
Yeah, but this actually has another game around it. If it's just a side thing,
There's also another game around it. You can do it in creative ways. I can't remember what it's called, though.
Kind of like football, but like you just beat the crap out of each other to get the ball. It's great.
God, this
I played it all the time.
You mean soccer?
Put it on the list.
Soccer. It was, I played it with mates all the time. We had a blast. Yeah, great shout out.
Next question comes from Andrew Thorson. What do you guys think is the best console out of these options? And explain as to why. Game.com, the Nokia N-Gage, the CDI, Virtual Boy, or Jaguar?
Wow. That's quite a
Jaguar.
choice.
Didn't the Jaguar have the controller with all of the games pre-programmed on it? The Atari Jaguar?
I don't know.
Yeah, it had that big ugly ass controller with all the buttons in the middle that you could then...
Yeah, it's really ugly.
God, that looks awful.
My friend had a Nokia N-Gage, and he had Splinter Cell for it. It was atrocious.
I always remember them being in
the
the game shops when I was a kid.
Yeah, it was kind of cool. I really wanted one, but then then I watched him take a phone call, and do you remember how you used to put the N-Gage to your ear?
Yeah, it was
huge.
Actually,
instead of just having it flat against your face, it would be you put the side of it to your head, and it just really looked really bad.
Like you've got a phone.
Yeah, so the screen was facing forward.
Yeah, the screen was facing forward, yeah. You just type in N-Gage call in Google Images, you'll see a bunch of guys looking real stupid. It was quite a cool idea, though.
It was kind of the precursor to mobile phone gaming.
Definitely.
It was a little ahead of its time, which I think that's important when choosing the best console.
Yeah. It had you get these little SD cards, the proprietary cards that it took. Had Call of Duty, SSX, Splinter Cell, had some big games. But,
yeah, it was meant to be a big thing, but it never was it?
Yeah, no. I just remember.
I always wanted a Game.com.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't either.
I keep thinking of the retailer over here.
Yeah, me too.
No, it was made by, I think it was made by Tiger Electronics.
Oh, okay.
So it was really shitty, but I always really wanted one.
Did it take
little cartridges? Yeah.
Oh.
Nothing major. Like, it didn't ever have any massive platform support, but I believe it had a Mortal Kombat version. It was cool. I just remember seeing it.
It's amazing. Back in the day, you had all these different companies making the consoles, and nowadays it's just completely dominated by the big three.
Yeah, I miss that.
I'm surprised he didn't put the Sega Game Gear on there or the Sega Nomad. Did you guys ever have a Nomad?
My friend had a Nomad, but you couldn't get them over here. They're in North.
It was a portable Genesis.
Yeah, they weren't sold over here. You had to import them, and no one.
All right.
Oh, and it just chewed through the battery.
Six AAA, no, 6 AA battery.
And you'd get
did the Game Gear, to be fair.
But it actually took full Genesis cartridges.
All right.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
The Game Gear was awesome too. I had one of those and
I
loved
liked
it.
My uncle had one.
Really? Mm-hmm. They're really cool. I like them.
So I'm going to throw my answer behind Nokia N-Gage just because of how ahead of its time it was.
Yeah, me too.
I would go with N-Gage as well.
You can't vote for Virtual Boy because it just destroys your brain. So
Yeah.
Next question, Chad Hagar. What is the worst story you have about trading games in? I know I traded a ton of games for my NES to get very bad games at some point. I also traded games to get Final Fantasy II in my younger years, which was great. But we all have those terrible stories of things we wish we wouldn't have traded.
There's so many because that was how I used to buy games years ago. I just used to trade in everything to get one thing and then just repeat every Christmas.
Oh dear.
But I remember one time I traded my PS2 for an original Xbox. That was a mistake.
Bad choice.
I'm not much of a trader, to be honest. I like to keep my games. Yeah. But if I had to pick something, it would be when I first got the PlayStation, my parents decided it would be a good idea to sell my Mega Drive and all the games to a car boot sale.
No.
And so I could get more money to buy PlayStation games.
Jeez.
And
I kind of had a similar story. The year that the PS2 came out, I wanted to get a bunch of games, so I took a ton of my PlayStation games, like rare stuff, like the full Lunar set, the big box set with all the collectible stuff in it, things like that, and went and traded them.
Oh, God.
Oh.
I mean, I had some rare RPGs in there.
Dude, I remember doing that. I remember Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty came out, and I couldn't afford it, but it was 40 quid, and I just traded in a ton of other, like, cherished games that I had for PS1 and PS2.
I have a really good trading story, though, and that was trading in No Man's Sky the day after it came out, because that was shit.
I wish I would have done that.
I know, I told you.
I really wish I would have, because now when I was back in Wisconsin, I stopped and saw my buddy that is a manager at a GameStop. He's like, yeah, we're giving like $8 for it now.
No way.
It's gone down to $40 retail.
Do you remember
already.
how much hype that game had and how much it was mentioned when it first came out? How many times have you heard about it since?
Seriously, though? $8?
$8.
That's shocking.
That's about how much it was worth.
What does he resell it for? Like double?
Probably like 34 now. Oof. Yeah. Next question, Sean McIntosh. Have you guys tried out Overcooked on the PS4? It's a fantastic couch co-op game. I was wondering your opinions on it. I have not.
I have not, but it's apparently really, really good.
It's a cooking simulator.
Yeah, I thought about getting it. I thought about getting it and playing it with my girlfriend, but apparently lots of arguments will ensue because it's.
How much is it? I want this now.
You get really fired up on it. Like, no, you're supposed to be chopping the tomatoes. Run out. Like you're just constantly managing each other, and so yeah, I don't think it would work well with. My girlfriend.
I think we could do it well, Eric. Me and you worked well when we disarmed that bomb.
Oh man, it's $17 though. That's a little. What a weird price.
That's the only reason I've not bought it is because it's strangely priced. It's a little bit too high, I think. But then again,
if it were 10, I'd try it.
It's one to watch.
Interesting. Next question, Mark Haddock. Okay, someone needs to ask the hard questions here, so here goes. What came first, chicken or egg?
Egg.
God.
Chicken.
All right, cool.
Both.
As per Jess's request, we will not get into religion on the show.
Probably
Is this a religious question?
I don't know. You could make it religious.
You could.
We could make it political.
You could do a lot of things with it.
Or is he talking like sexual? Who came first?
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
Chicken, then.
I'm pretty sure eggs don't come.
I mean,
that is not a sentence I've ever said.
All the whites that come out.
Oh, yeah. You poke a hole in it.
Egg white.
And it comes out.
There you go.
Well, that's what happens with most people.
Yes. Ben Carruth has a topical question regarding Halloween horror games. Have you guys ever played any of the Siren series games? What's the scariest game you've ever played?
Silent Hill 2.
Probably the original Silent Hill.
I have not played Siren, but I have played a game that is more terrifying than the Silent Hill games. It's called Fatal Frame.
Oh, yeah, you were on about this the other day.
Those games are terrifying because it's not going in and killing enemies. It's documenting the horrors of a mansion via a camera, and you can only see everything, all the terrifying shit, when you're looking through the camera. I bought Fatal Frame 1 and 2 on the PSN store for $1 each, and I made it about an hour into the first one and went, yeah, fuck this.
Eric, it looks terrifying.
Fatal Frame 2 is utterly pants-shitting from what I hear.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just batshit crazy. It's like this Japanese style. It's like The Ring and The Grudge.
Oh, Jesus.
Had a thing like this in Japan, in the Sega thing, where you could go in it and then had like creepy dolls and stuff, and I was like, I'm not going in that.
So is it worth us playing Fatal Frame 1 next year for Halloween?
Oh.
Nope, Silent Hill 3.
Okay, because Fatal Frame looks kind of interesting.
I mean, we could just add that to the list.
Oh.
But how...
Dan's going to be conveniently gone that week.
Maybe it's not very long and we can power through.
I don't know. Look it up. See how long it is.
Stop it.
How long is Fatal Frame? It is
7.5 hours. Okay,
oof, that is long.
Maybe not.
All right. We have a couple emails if you want to send us an email, factorysealed@manatank.com. First one comes from Mark Marcheshi. Ahoy, ahoy, crew! As the news of the new Red Dead Redemption 2 press announcement has come out, I brought back to thinking about the actual first game in the Red Dead series, Red Dead Revolver. Never played it, wondered if any of you lot ever played it. All I knew of it was my Blockbuster always had tons of copies of it for sale, which oddly I remember too. I saw it reviewed decently well, so I always wondered if it was good. You guys played it?
I've not. Apparently it's really different to Red Dead Redemption. And it's I look at the screenshots on the PS4 remaster. It looks all right, but I've not taken a punt with it.
There's a PS4 remaster of it?
Yeah, it just got released about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, just on the PSN store.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, probably.
So he goes on, based on those games, I have a question to mull over. I recently moved from the Midwest to the Arizona locale, and while driving through New Mexico, it really hit me how well Red Dead Redemption showcased that landscape. Also, when I see oil refineries at night, they remind me of the visuals of Midgar in Final Fantasy VII. Is there any location, setting, or game environment you see in your life afterwards and think a game captured or mimics it excellently? I can imagine Dan visiting New York and thinking it's the real Liberty City. Well, toodles, Mark.
Well, funnily enough, when I was playing Mad Max recently, I thought to myself, this looks just like my home of Peter Lee.
Just all run down and shit.
Yeah, covered in dust.
When I was in New York and it was
people eating each other,
snowing, it looks like The Division. It does look like it.
Well, it is set in New York.
Exactly.
Huh.
it just looks really good. But also, I think I sent you this video last year, Eric. I was walking around my neighborhood area and it was so foggy and really quiet. There's no cars, no people. It just looked exactly like the original Silent Hill.
Oh yeah, you did say
what
that.
What did you do?
I have to agree with him. Red Dead does the best job of capturing the area where I live. You drive an hour north into, and Tom, you can attest. I drove you through there. It looks just like it.
It does.
Identical.
It does, especially at night when you see the outlines of the cacti and stuff.
Sedona, especially driving through there, the Red Rock and Painted Desert. It's incredible. They did the best job capturing landscape.
Yeah,
there.
it's beautiful. It should look even better in the second game.
Last email comes from Jack Grant. Ooh. Hey, everyone at Factory Sealed. I haven't sent you an email in a while, so here you go. Recently started uni, and after the first week of fun, I've been seriously ill. So my question is, what's some of your favorite memories of being ill and playing games all day? Personally, I remember being off school one day from being ill, just randomly craved Shadow of the Colossus, and played through the whole thing that day. Keep up the great work as always, Jack. P.S. Ricky Evans is a right lad. Tom and Dan will understand. P.P.S. I like to think if I got to try that mechanical bull sober, that I would last at least 1 second longer.
You did fail miserably, Jack.
It was awful. Yeah.
Awfully great.
I mean, yeah, it took balls to post
Yeah,
it.
it did.
Let's put it that way.
You got to give you that.
But he did redeem himself by posting a true straddling picture. I'm assuming he held on to the University of York longer than he held on to that ball.
I would hope so. Otherwise, he's fallen off the balcony.
I mean, you never know. Final Fantasy VIII for me. Being sick and just staying home and level grinding on Island Closest to Heaven and Island Closest to Hell and just enjoying that world.
I wasn't allowed to play on games when I was ill.
No.
Did your parents stay home with you?
Well, my gran did.
Your parents wouldn't let you stay home by yourself?
Because I was young.
Even when you were like middle school?
Really ill much as a child.
See, I was ill all the time. It's constant. I was one of those kids that was always snotty and ill.
Oh.
Just dripping
Yeah,
snot.
just going home. The nurse sending me home with like migraines and shit. Just couldn't get on. So I was always playing different games. I remember playing when I was ill Breath of Fire 4 because it was a really big RPG, and I was just grinding through that constantly.
The other one too, Final Fantasy Tactics.
RPGs.
And the first Dark Cloud.
And Grandia for me. On PS1. I don't know.
I need to finish that one.
So good. Those PS1 JRPGs, like, they remind me of being ill. not in a terrible way. But like, because there was so much to do, those games lasted forever. So I didn't have the disposable income I have now. So you get a lot of value out of a role-playing game back then. So, and yeah, Ricky is a lad.
Ricky is
true
a lad.
So I can agree.
Guys, that's going to do it for emails this week. We need to pick a winner. Who is going to get the custom Final Fantasy Black Mage stocking?
Dude, I've got a name right here.
Dude.
Have you used your fancy
read it.
algorithm?
Cannot believe it. It's
Put them all in. Press the button.
It's Andrew Thorson.
Hooray! Andrew Thorson.
Congrats, son.
Speaking of Andrew, he actually has donated some stuff to the show for a giveaway that we're going to be doing in December based around card games. We'll get into that on another show, but he sent that to us a while ago. I still need to get some stuff sent off to Dan and Tom for evaluation, and we have a really, really cool giveaway for that. So that'll be coming in December, probably right around end of November, beginning December-ish
We still
area.
have the mini NES contest going on as well. So if you haven't entered that, go on Facebook or Twitter and enter the competition, because
I think we need to pick a winner next week so that we can get a pre-order down and shipped out when it releases.
Right, so this is your last chance, really.
This is it.
Oh God, get straddling.
Straddle something if you want to win. For the love of God, set your dignity aside. Go put something between your legs and take a picture. We have a couple straddling entries.
We do.
We certainly do. You have to post your picture on the Factory Seal Retro Gaming Podcast community page group on Facebook.
And please, no Photoshop.
No Photoshop.
Genuine.
So far, we have
Straddles.
technically 1, 2. I thought we had a third one. Oh, Matt Ernie sent another one. So we have 3 straddling pictures so far.
It's not bad. Not bad.
We need more.
Yeah, come on, guys. Start mounting.
Step it up. Mounting. Otherwise, every contest is going to involve straddling until we get more entries.
This is like your goal in life, isn't it? It's like get a
pretty
nation of people who straddle things.
Guys, what's our game for next week? Do we have one?
No.
It was originally supposed to be Vice City Part 2, but we decided not to do a 2-parter.
How about we do Super Metroid?
Oh, it was Simon's Quest or something.
Oh, yeah, we were going to do a Castlevania game, the NES one.
So maybe Simon's Quest?
I could do Simon's Quest.
All right.
I want to play Super Metroid.
We can do Super Metroid. I'm cool.
It's 2-1.
I don't mind.
Yeah, whatever.
Let's just decide.
I've never played Super Metroid, so Super Metroid.
Super Metroid.
It is Super Metroid next week. Any other final thoughts, guys? Good show. Good deep analysis
I
today.
would just like to state for the record that you are an idiot.
Yes.
But other than that, no.
But yeah.
We kept the humor above the brow today.
My final bit of trivia is that Konami lost the source code for Silent Hill 2.
I saw that.
Yeah. Crazy, huh? One of
losers.
One of the most loved games.
Kind of like the U.S. government lost the original recordings of the moon landing.
Oh, shit.
They just taped over it.
With, like...
You gotta watch Dallas.
Oh, goodness. Guys, that's going to do it for the show this week. We will see you all next week with some Super Metroid.
Super
Hemorrhoid.
Oh, God.